On deck, we got Simon Says. Coming to stage is Ant. Ant! Keep that round of applause going. Ant!
Oh, yeah, just Ant. All right, sweet Mike. Here we go.
Check, check. This mic does kind of sound like shit tonight. It is just Ant. I'm hiding from the government, so let's just keep it simple. Well, let's talk about kids. JD started us off. He must shop at the same Walmart as me, because those kids just fucking run rampant there. They are some shitheads. I don't have any kids. I don't know if I'm ever going to have any kids, and I'm okay with that. But I'm still contributing to society. I've been doing this third-party parenting. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. It's where I don't have kids, but I will teach you how to teach your kids, or I will teach your kids shit. I won't tell you how to train your kids or teach your kids, but when you're not around, I'll teach them some shit when you're not looking. Actually, at Walmart, I had just recently, I was picking up some dairy, and there was this little chubby ginger kid. That's not really that important to the story, but I want you to get a visual. This chubby little ginger kid with snot on his face, just being a loud little asshole running around. And he's like just wiping his hands on shit, and he's pulling out eggs, and I just wanted to smack the shit out of him right there. But I'm at the milk, and I see him like just sticking his finger in the door, and he's looking the other way. And I'm about to grab some milk, and if I open the door, it's going to pinch his fingers. Or I could just say, hey, like slap him in the head or something and tell him to walk away. But I figure, I could tell him something or I could teach him something, and I'm a teacher. So I just fucking open the door and squeeze his fingers in there, and he lets out this loud, like, ah! And then his mom comes around the corner in her little scooter, because we're at Walmart, and laziness is a medical condition, so you get a scooter. And she comes around the corner with her little cart full of junk food, and I just hear, hey! Quit screwing around! And the kid's crying, and he takes off, and I'm just like, you know what? I fucking taught that kid something. All right, I could be a good parent. And I've got some nephews. They're like teenage. They're at the point where they're going to probably start banging and finger blasting chicks at least. They might not be having sex yet, but they're doing a little something. So I told them, I'm like, if you guys have questions about things, your parents aren't going to tell you, because my sister, she's a little conservative. I could teach them some things, and so far I've given them some advice. They asked me about girls, and I just gave them one simple bit of advice, and it seems to work pretty well. I just said, when you're talking to girls, just pepper the word moist in there. Whatever conversation, use moist however you can. And pay attention to how they react. Because the girl who, laughs it off, she just starts laughing when you say moist, that's a for sure deal. You are definitely getting something from her. And if you use the word moist, especially coupled with the word panties, if they don't even flinch, you fucking keep an eye on that girl. She's a keeper. And if there was a emoticon for moist, by the way, it would have to be like a picture of a girl with just a scrunched up, grossed out face, like, if you notice that, you use the word moist around most girls, they're like creeped out. So I gave them a little advice on girls, and it's to the point where now I'm going to have the conversation about drugs with them. My sister's not going to she's not going to give these kids an accurate talk on drugs. She'll do what the schools and the stupid commercials do. I'll give them real advice on commercials, which is like, what age you should possibly be doing these drugs at, what kind of price you should expect to pay for certain drugs. Somebody's got to tell these kids, right? Like, you need to learn. I wish I would have known this stuff. It'll save you a lot of grief through life. So you got to know what kind of price to pay for these drugs. You got to know, and then when you get the drugs, you got to know how to hide them. That's a big thing. Finding household appliances and random things you can hide your drugs in. Maybe you buy some weed, it starts to get dry. Put a little citrus in that shit. Take some peels. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Just little life hacks, Or maybe the most important one when you're dealing with edibles, how much is too much? You're not going to learn that shit in school. You just don't. And I learned that on my own. I had a buddy one time who sent me a text. He's like, dude, made some hash browns. And I'm like, okay, you made some fucking hash browns. Cool, man. Well, it was autocorrect. He actually meant hash brownies. He was broke and couldn't buy some vowels or something, because there's a huge difference between hash brownies and hash browns. So he made me some hash brownies. I had them in my house. I kind of forgot that they were so tasty, I forgot they had drugs in them. And one time I made the mistake of consuming a hash brownie. Yeah, you're in the thing, and then, you're at the bar, you're telling a story. It's no big deal. We're talking about egg rolls and being high. It's usual stuff. I'll take a shot, by the way. Something that's strong and clear is good. So I eat these hash brownies, and I kind of forget about it, because I'm going about my day. I'm like, oh, it's a brownie, it's delicious, I eat it. And I decide to walk to Qdoba. Now, I'm like 2 blocks from Qdoba. I get there, and by the time I get there, the brownies kick in. We're talking like an hour later. And I've completely forgot that I've eaten these brownies, but I'm fucking hungry as shit. So I order this burrito, one of those big guys, size of your head. And I'm sitting there, and I'm oblivious to everybody around me. I start eating the thing, and I'm just fucking packing it into my face. Just, no regard for anybody around me. And there's this little kid, this little asshole, just staring at me, just. And I'm packing this thing in my face, and I'm so high that I'm getting paranoid, and in my mind, he's judging me. He's just looking at me, and I'm eating this burrito like, and in my mind, I'm like, dude, I know that this looks fucking gay. I'm not gay. I'm not deep throating this burrito, but it's delicious. And he's looking at me with just judgy eyes. And he's like a 5-year-old little Asian boy with white parents, which is weird to me anyway, because I'm fucking tripping balls. But I'm just packing this burrito into my face, just, and I'm aware of how gay I look. And I just stop and I look at him, and he's staring at me. And finally, I've had enough, and I just look at him like, it's not a dick! And he just kind of doesn't really flinch, and I immediately get embarrassed. I feel like an asshole. And I hear his mom say, I think that man is high on pot. And I got super, super paranoid, and I drop my burrito, and then the dad just does one of these. Yeah, probably. And that's the end of that. He didn't even trip on it, and I'm freaking out. I get up and I leave my burrito there. And I left that place, but I felt like an accomplished parent, because in the long way, I taught that kid that it's not polite to stare. And his parents didn't beat him because they were white and he's Asian, so he didn't get put through the ringer. So that's my third-party parenting. I could go for another 10 minutes on that. We'll end it on that. Thanks, guys.
Give it